At least 10 dead, thousands injured, public buildings set ablaze or looted. Indonesia is in turmoil. Protests triggered by a cost of living crisis made worse by politicians flaunting their lavish lifestyles turned violent over the past fortnight. The death of a 21-year-old motorcycle taxi driver who was run over and killed by an armored police vehicle further inflamed passions. The protests began on 25th of August when thousands of people took to the streets. Their anger was primarily directed against the hefty housing allowances given to lawmakers in addition to their salary. The perks and allowances, which were introduced last year, were nearly 10 times the minimum wage in Jakarta and 20 times the minimum wage in other provinces. It was seen by many as a symbol of inequality and political arrogance amid economic hardship for ordinary Indonesians. The protests gained momentum following the death of a 21-year-old youth, Affan Kurniawan, in Jakarta on 28th August. Kurniawan was completing a food delivery service order when he was struck by a police vehicle during a demonstration. After Kurniawan's death, his image became a rallying cry for justice. His face came to be plastered on posters and shared widely online under a hashtag that meant justice for the people. A woman who has come to be known as Ibu Ana or Mother Anna has become a hero too. The woman in a pink hijab was seen confronting riot police. Her show of defiance turned her overnight into a poster child of the protest. Indonesia's digital space has been awash with two dominant color themes, pink and green. Pink represents the color of the hijab worn by Ibu Ana as she challenged the police guarding the parliament building. And green because Kurniawan was wearing a green jacket common among ride-hailing drivers across Indonesia when he was killed. The protests have since morphed into the Brave Pink Hero Green movement. Indonesians have adopted the Brave Pink Hero Green movement as a way to spread the word online. Many are customizing their social media profile pictures with filters in those shades. Local media reported that the pink-green palette has been widely adopted by social media influencers as a way to express public aspirations through their content. Among the most shared is the 17+8 People's Demands. 17+8 refers to 17th August, Indonesia's Independence Day. It's a call for transparency, reform, and empathy. Key demands include political party restructuring, stronger executive oversight, fairer tax reform, police professionalism rooted in humanism, and a comprehensive review of economic and labor policies. Across the country, scenes of arson, looting, and clashes with riot police played out on national television and social media. Police arrested hundreds of protesters as demonstrations spread to Makassar and Surabaya. On 1st September, riot police fired tear gas at hundreds of students camping overnight at Pasundan University and Bandung Islamic University in the city of Bandung. Amid mounting pressure, President Prabowo Subianto announced a ban on lawmakers' allowances and foreign trips. An investigation has since also been ordered against the police to determine the exact cause of Kurniawan's death. The protests are a striking symbol of how public anger over corruption has turned directly against the country's ruling elite. For many Indonesians, the images of ransacked houses shared online carried more weight than speeches in parliament. Protesters framed the looting as a form of symbolic justice, arguing that the opulence on display stood in stark contrast to the daily struggles of people.
We see this as a form of anger and courage, including the concerns of women. Our anger starts because various government and House of Representatives policies currently contradict the efforts to improve life and instead plunge the people into unemployment, violence and discrimination.
The biggest reform we need for Parliament is for them to work for the people rather than for the party leaders or the party themselves. That's what reform really means. No matter who you are, it doesn't matter. As long as you only work for your party, you're not working for the people.
The streets have become the people's only voice, and that voice is growing louder. Life is hard for many. The cost of staples has soared, layoffs are common, jobs are hard to come by for university graduates, and families struggle with debt. At the heart of the protests is a growing frustration with Indonesia's political class, which is accused of prioritizing personal gain over public service. Demonstrators were also protesting against what they termed the corrupt elites within the government and policies that benefit corporates and the military. The French news agency AFP reported that Indonesia recorded a surge in growth in the second quarter of the year on the back of manufacturing and export demand. Yet that is not being felt in the wallets of everyday Indonesians who see a corrupt political class enriching itself while economic disparity widens. As protests sweep across Indonesia, many are reminded of the nation's darkest and most transformative chapter, the 1998 riots that led to the fall of the then President Suharto. The unrest then had begun with students. In 1998, it was rising prices, corruption and economic collapse that drove thousands to the streets. The protests escalated into deadly riots, culminating in the resignation of Suharto after 32 years in power. The chaos forced sweeping political change, including the beginning of Indonesia's modern democratic era. Cut to 2025, these protests pose the biggest challenge yet for President Prabowo Subianto, who was elected just last year with a heavy majority. Incidentally, President Prabowo Subianto is the son-in-law of the late military ruler Suharto. Can President Subianto turn the tide? Is a reset on the cards? As they say, watch this space.